Members of the UK Parliament are feeling critical of the government's new plans for the agricultural sector and said the government's plan to replace EU agriculture payments is based on blind optimism and lacks key specifics. Stick around for all the details as well as other interesting news for farmers. First, let's look into the holes in the plan. A parliamentary panel has warned that the government's proposals for a post-Brexit scheme to boost British farms are based on blind optimism and risk increasing the UK's dependency on food imports. One of the long-running criticisms of Eurosceptics, who regarded the capacity of Britain to draw up its own plan of payments as one of the key attractions of Brexit, was the EU's program of subsidiaries, known as the Common Agricultural Policy, CAP, which was worth €3 billion a year to UK farmers. Ministers stated that the new system will be utilized to boost agriculture's environmental benefits. However, MPs on the influential Cross-Party Public Accounts Committee, PAC, discovered that the Environmental Land Management Schemes, ELMs, intended to replace EU funding still lacked specificity. According to them, the government's belief in the strategy appears to be naively optimistic. As the administration admits, the Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, Defra, has provided no explanation as to how the new scheme's impact on English farmers would be reduced, despite warnings that some farmers' direct payment income would be cut in half by 2024 and 25. More than 5 years after the EU vote, Geoffrey Clifton-Brown, the Tory deputy head of PAC and a long-term Brexit advocate, claimed there were still no clear preparations to replace CAP. Some small farmers with wafer-thin margins might go out of business, he warned. Farmers, especially the next generation who we will depend on to achieve our combined food production and environmental goals, have been left in the dark. It is simply wrong that Defra's own failures of business planning should undermine the certainty crucial to a critical national sector. The UK is also already a large net importer of food, and we heard this evidence that the ELM's vague ambition to maximize the value to society of the landscape may in reality mean that increases further. The recent energy price crisis should be a salutary warning of the potential risks to the availability and affordability of food if the UK becomes even more reliant on imports, he said. Next, the National Farmers Union. Farmers will be paid to restore nature, nurture the soil, enhance air and water quality, and offer animal habitat through ELMs under the new system, which promises to deliver public money for public benefits. The National Farmers Union, on the other hand, said the study should serve as a wake-up call to the government, claiming that a lack of information had put farmers in an untenable situation. According to Tom Bradshaw, vice president of the union, they are concerned that not all farmers would be able to participate. The administration has yet to explain how food production fits into the new programs it has suggested. If they want farmers to participate, this needs to be addressed right away. As the PAC points out, they could simply increase imports on food produced under less stringent environmental requirements. He feels it is crucial that Defra conducts and publishes impact assessments in order to fully comprehend the real impact of the proposed changes, something they have consistently requested but have yet to get. Green Alliance. According to Dustin Benton, policy director at the Green Alliance environmental think tank, it is unclear whether the new program would assist the government in meeting its own climate and environmental goals. Ministers must explain how ELMs will contribute to attaining net zero carbon and recovering nature, so farmers can plan their operations. Without this, the government's promised green Brexit appears to be fading from view, according to him. Greenpeace. Greenpeace UK's chief scientist, Doug Parr, said the scheme could have unintended consequences for consumers and the environment, where the major risk is that we'll end up with an even more split two-tier food system, in which cheaper foods from overseas, which comes at a high environmental cost, replaces food that could be farmed in a more environmentally responsible manner here. He explained that working in this manner is inefficient, unhelpful to UK land managers, and increases the risk of unintended consequences, such as greater deforestation in other countries. George Eustice. The Environment Secretary George Eustice disagreed with several of the committee's conclusions, claiming that they failed to take into account recent events. Since the UK voted to leave the EU in 2016, farm earnings have increased dramatically, and there has never been a better opportunity to change the way farmers are rewarded. He noted that in December he issued an in-depth examination of UK food security and agricultural production, as well as extensive information on the Sustainable Farming Initiative, including full payment rates. In the last week, they've published more information on the local nature recovery and landscape recovery programs, as well as a significant rise in payment rates for farmers participating in current agri-environment programs. Next, in other news, autonomous tractors. Later this year, John Deere will be selling self-driving tractors. The most intriguing technology of the year isn't a TV with NFTs, a folding tablet computer, or anything metaverse related. It's a self-driving John Deere 8R tractor that plows fields, avoids obstacles, and plant crops with little help from humans. It has the same green and yellow color scheme as any other John Deere tractor, but it has 6 pairs of stereo cameras that employ artificial intelligence to analyze the environment and move accordingly. The farmer doesn't even have to be near the equipment to operate it because everything is controlled by a smartphone app. Later this year, the tractor will be available for purchase, just in time for an especially advanced robotic harvest season. High prices continue. Farmers will have to pay extra to produce this year's crop. As is generally known, farmers attending the annual meeting of the American Farm Bureau Federation this week want to know how long the increase in input prices will endure. The price of some agricultural fertilizers increased by as much as 150% year over year in 2021 due to a surge in worldwide demand for fertilizer, while global supplies declined. Many experts have been arguing for months that the globe is becoming hungrier, necessitating an increase in agricultural supply. Experts think the demand side of the fertilizer issue is simpler to predict than the supply side. The supply side of the fertilizer situation is where the real difficulties of rising costs start to emerge. New crop insurance policies. The USDA's Risk Management Agency said on Wednesday that corn producers in 11 states can qualify for crop insurance coverage this year through a strategy that decreases fertilizer runoff. If unfavorable weather prohibits producers from applying several applications of nitrogen fertilizer throughout important sections of the growing season, the insurance will cover output losses. When opposed to the conventional method of applying a single big dosage of fertilizer before or during planting, split-apply nitrogen can limit nutrient runoff and cut fertilizer expenses. The policy applies to non-irrigated maize in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Food prices stability uncertain. According to a UN Food and Agriculture Organization index based on 5 key commodities including cereal grains, meat, sugar, global food costs increased by 28% in 2021. The rapid surge interrupted 5 years of relative stability in the food price index as the globe recovered from the economic collapse that accompanied the coronavirus epidemic. The most significant increases were in the use of vegetable oils in cooking, dressings, and sauces. Vegetable oil sub-indexed increased by approximately 68%, reaching its highest yearly level ever. Cereal grains, such as wheat, rice, and corn, saw the second largest rise at 27%. Overall, the food index was at its highest level since 2011, in the previous year when food prices skyrocketed. Northern Soil Compaction Conference. Soil compaction management is an important part of operation planning for growers who want to enhance crop output. The Northern Soil Compaction Conference, hosted by the University of Minnesota Extension, will link producers with soil compaction specialists and technical guidance to help them enhance yields and profits. On the 26th and 27th of January, a virtual conference will be held. The conference will provide the most up-to-date information on reducing soil compaction, reducing future risk, and maximizing the benefits of management plan implementation. It is co-sponsored by the University of Minnesota Extension, North Dakota State University, and Manitoba Agriculture and Resource Development. Chesapeake Bay. According to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, CBF, the 3 primary states in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, which are responsible for 90% of the pollution in the bay, would fail their objectives for lowering sediment and nutrient runoff by 2025 if they continue on their current plan. Maryland and Virginia need to ramp up their efforts to combat agricultural pollution, while Pennsylvania is still very behind. In 2010, the 6 states in the watershed, which include West Virginia and New York, committed to improve water quality in the bay and its tributaries. By 2025, the so-called Clean Water Strategy aimed to reduce nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment discharge by 25%, 24%, and 20% respectively. With 4 years before the 2025 deadline, less than half of the nitrogen reductions have been accomplished, according to the CBF's annual report. That's a wrap for this video. Do you agree with the policy's criticism? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.